everybody. Today I have Lori Aikman on the podcast with me. I can't wait to interview her. We actually met through a mutual friend on social media, and what Lori does, well, she's going to dive into all the details, but she focuses on functional medicine, which I think is really important. There's actually some overlap between, actually quite a bit of overlap between clients that we help. But I'm not going to steal your thunder there. You can dive into all the details, but let's just start out with like a little bit about who you are.
I'm Lori Aikman. And we're local. We're in the same, so I'm here in Central Florida. I actually grew up here, where I live. I am a nurse practitioner. I moved away for a little while. I went to nursing school in Jacksonville, and worked at Mayo Clinic for 11 years or so, and then moved back here and met my husband, and now we have our family. So I've got, my son is 2.5, and my daughter just turned 1. We actually share a birthday. So I turned 39 and she turned 1.
Oh, I didn't know that. I love that so much.
I went into labor at 3:45 in the morning last year on my birthday. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's the best birthday present.
Forever, yeah. But no, I joke. Forever. It's now her birthday. It's no longer my birthday.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, to be a mom. Yeah. Thank you for diving into those details. So what I would love to hear about today is more of your personal development, inner work journey. So if you just start out with like, what was life before, how you how you saw yourself, how you viewed the world. Just tell us all about that.
Yes. Yeah. I listened to your podcast, and obviously, I've been to your 2-day retreat. And I think I have a lot of commonalities probably with a lot of the women that, end up working with you. I was a very high achiever growing up. I was not I did AB honor roll, but my performing was in athletics a lot. I was very athletic growing up. My parents were both athletes. My mom played sports in college. She played soccer in college. My dad was actually a professional baseball player. And
you told me that. So that's cool.
I was very athletic. Yeah, and I was very athletic. So that was my area where I played sports year round. I was on student council, and I think I learned to get my praise and my atta girls and things like that. And so I learned to perform, for much of my life, just being a high achiever. And then I hit these points in adulthood where I was like, am I even doing what I like to do? Do I even know what I want or I like? Or have I just been doing what definitely a recovering people pleaser. I would say a funny example of this, if you ask my best friend and my husband, don't take me, and I'm better now, but don't take me to Cheesecake Factory. I had a very hard time. I hit a place in my life where realizing I couldn't even decide what I wanted to eat because, at a restaurant like that, with a million choices.
It really is.
I could, yeah. I mean, but even if I was at a regular restaurant, I had a hard time identifying even what I wanted because
you are so not alone there. So that was true for me. And so many of my clients come saying the same thing with I was told for so long, this is what you should do. This is the right way to do it in this order, everything. And then just the point you got, what do I even want? What do I even like? I mean, maybe that's a little bit far, but maybe not for some others. Who am I? And that indecisiveness too.
Yes. Definitely.
Yes. I talked about that on the podcast that I did around the good girl syndrome. It's one of the signs. Yes.
Definitely. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I came to, I've been doing some personal work and like, okay, what do I really want? And I went, had found functional medicine and I really wanted to work for myself. I had this desire to be an entrepreneur. But I got to this place where, okay, I started this entrepreneurial journey. And I realized that my personal development is what's kind of having some limiting beliefs and blocks keeping me, I think, from moving forward on that journey. And so we met and I heard about your retreat. And that's when I ended up in your world, was just kind of going, okay, it seems that like these whatever, this programming that I've had inside is keeping me from moving forward. I remember the first day of the retreat, us talking about, I can identify, you called it the patriarchal bind, right?
Bind, yes.
Is that it, what it's called? Where it's like I don't need help. Like you should be self-sufficient. Don't burden people with your needs, but also don't outperform. Don't be, don't outshine anyone. And so like just stay stuck in this bubble where you kind of don't do anything. You're like neutral.
Yes. There's like these boundaries, like don't fall below this boundary, but you better not fall above that one. But like, what are those boundaries? Who knows? Yeah. And then it can create a lot of discomfort and uncertainty and like, okay, I'm going to stay small, not too small, but not too big.
Yes.
That
and then, what do you even do then?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so anything else before we kind of dive into where you are now? What insights you've had, what shifts you've made, what you're noticing, about yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you're showing up, all of that.
Yeah. I don't think anything, I think that kind of, I could go into detail on, more and more detail before, but I think that sums up that just feeling that stuck. Be a good girl, do what you're supposed to do, make everybody else happy. But then what do I actually want? And then started to pursue that. And then, okay, but there's still some hangups keeping me from really, enjoying life and feeling fulfilled and getting unstuck.
Yeah.
So if I would say the big, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. So sorry. If you were to put one word on how you felt in that time, is it stuck, or do any other like emotions come up for you as like, what was your dominant, feeling?
My go-to emotion, like negative emotion, is frustration. It's when I know it's like living in constant frustration. I love my husband and I have a great relationship. We love our kids. It's like on the outside I'm successful. Yeah. But I'm living in this feeling stuck, feeling frustrated all the time.
That makes sense. Okay.
That's how I would describe it.
Yeah. Tell us now.
Yeah. And so now, I think the biggest thing that, and I remember you telling the story, like some of your story, is realizing I don't have to fight life anymore, I think is how you word it. And that's something that I can literally take this frustration and let it go. And a really big breakthrough I had the weekend of the retreat was realizing that there was this underlying shame and like guilt, I would call it, just kind of low level, just kind of permeating my life. Where there's situations that have happened in my life that have stirred that up, but then I think it's like spilling over into me feeling fulfilled and happy with my life, and just realizing that was there, you know, and that was, I think a big area where I realized that, I think you and I had messaged a little bit was, so I do, you know, functional medicine, functional health. A lot of times, two biggest symptoms that I hear is women can't lose the weight that they want to, and then they don't have energy. And I had not even realized, I think because of the shame and guilt that I carried around it, that I had my own personal weight gain and loss story. It was in my and I think about it, maybe it's just because it seems distant, but I was in my 20s. I gained about 40 pounds in a matter of a year and a half. And now, knowing what I know now, I know it was happening hormonally with me during that time. It was not normal weight gain. It wasn't that I was just lazy and eating, you know, ice cream all day, every day. But that was the story in my head, was it's my fault. I've gained this weight. And there was so much shame and guilt around that. I remember so I grew up here in Brevard County. I remember going, you know, I went away to college. I remember coming back on a weekend to visit and running into people that I knew growing up and wanting to hide because I was like ashamed of my body and what had happened and all this weight I gained. But it was just interesting that now that I work with women with weight loss, and I hadn't been sharing that story because it was like the shame had even like hid that from me, of like, I'm going to put that part of my life away, and nope, that doesn't fit. I can't integrate that into my life. And I went, oh my gosh, like, why haven't I been talking about that? You know, because this is what women are experiencing, you know, where, okay, I'm doing all the right things and I'm gaining this weight. What's going on? And so it's just so interesting how...
If you were to like describe now... No, I love it. Knowing what you know now, what was causing you to hide that?
Not accepting myself. Not loving, you know, for me, there was an exercise, I don't know how much you talk about it on your podcast, but there was an exercise you took us through of really integrating who we are, and really accepting ourselves for who we are, flaws and all. And I had felt for so long that I could not accept myself, especially with how can I accept these wrong parts of me? And that so was so powerful for me.
I have a feeling that others will be able to relate. So what was the fear? Like, if I accept these quote unquote wrong parts of me, what would happen? What might happen?
That I'm not gonna change. I'm just gonna stay this if I accept this broken, it's like I'm saying that's okay, that I'm broken and I'm not gonna get any better. And you know, it was like kind of I don't know how to describe that. I feel like I'm not putting that into words well, but accepting my brokenness seemed like the wrong thing to do. No, I should keep trying to fix these parts of me.
Yes, and because that's what we're told over and over and over again by society, by our family. Maybe not everybody resonates with this, but I would say most people do. Like, you have to punish yourself. You have to be hard on yourself. I had a client recently say, how long is appropriate to punish myself? She had been like beating herself up for, I don't know, it was... definitely over 5 years. And I was like, what if not at all? Like, what if that's actually the answer? Because surely this is not working, right? Everybody's beating themselves up, and then they're stuck in these negative feelings and emotions and shame and guilt. And if we just think about it from an energy perspective, if all the energy is on beating myself up, how much energy do I have to make the changes that I want? Not a lot. And so that was like the realization that you had, right?
Yeah. Well, and
So
I think
beautiful.
too, when you're putting all your energy on how, I think if I harp on my husband and tell him all the things that I feel, areas I feel like he's falling short, all that does is push him away from me. So why do I think that that's the right thing to do to myself, is just continue to harp on all my shortcomings and all my, like, how, if that's what it does in my relationships, why do I think it's going to work in myself?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I know on the surface level, some people are like, well, yeah, that's nice, right? That would be really nice just not to beat myself up. And so here's the thing is that doing the inner work, doing these programs through the Brave Method give you the exact tools that you need. Because I don't know about you, Lori, but I used to be one of those people that was like, well, yeah, of course, if I could just not worry, I would not worry. But I just didn't have the tools.
Yeah. Having I think I actually have like the notes from the retreat, like doggy. I have a little tab so I can like look back through and I just think of those things. Okay, this is what's really going on here, and here's how I can, shift my approach in the situation.
Exactly. So one of the things, unless you had a thought you wanted to finish, because I know I cut you off a couple of times, but you also mentioned, Steph, you phrased it as fight life. When you heard me share that, what insights did you have?
I think that is similar to, it's like, I think what I was just talking about, the self-acceptance, and that kind of really goes hand in hand, because
for you,
for me, because it's like, okay, I can be, okay, I have a goal or something and I don't achieve it, or, I can sit there and fight myself, fight life, and think about all the ways that I have messed up and fallen short of what my expectation is of what I should do. And all that does is just leave me stuck, right? It's really, when you realize it, like, all beating myself up does is just keep me right there in that. Or I can just go, well, okay, I didn't, this didn't happen. Maybe this is a different action I could take. And literally, like, I can just take, for me, like, I can just take that shame and guilt off of myself and just choose a new thought. Like, I don't have to stay in this place of frustration and feeling stuck and feeling like I literally can just choose not to do that, which seems so simple and seems like, before I'd be like, what? No way. It's not that easy, but it's so crazy how comfortable, it's more comfortable sometimes, like it's uncomfortable to let go. It's, and kind of like helping yourself through that, like, I can just let go of this. I can just let go of the guilt and shame on myself of what how I feel like I'm falling short of this expectation. So that's how, like, I would say, like, or I can fight life and I can keep choosing to stay frustrated and feeling shamed or guilty and stuck. And just fighting life from happening and allowing fulfillment and happiness to come. Or I can continue to fight life and stay stuck. I don't know. I hope I'm saying that well. It's
beautiful.
It's
you are.
Interesting to put words to this.
You're like, okay, now
you do it so well.
I share? How do I share what I experienced? Yeah. And I love that you said choice, because one of the 3 pillars of the Brave Method is to activate choice. And so when we just, before doing the work, for instance, if I just heard somebody say like, oh, well, just choose not to feel a certain way, I would have been like, what the F are you talking about? But now I give you the exact tools so that it actually is that simple. And like, how beautiful is that? So you walked out of this retreat, and I know like within 24 to 48 hours, you were already noticing things about yourself. And then over the coming months, because that was, I think, about 3 months ago, I've seen you show up differently in your business. So just like tell us about, your journey.
Yeah. Actually, with you bringing that up, I remember my husband and I having a conversation not long after, because I realized I was really afraid, being an entrepreneur, going into, I've done some extra training, which is cost me money, of course, to do that. And so there just was some stress financially that I was going, my husband is like there was this guilt and shame I was holding myself to, of just investing in my business and going, my husband is gonna, he's really gonna hate me for this, or that I'm not. It was judgment and shame I was placing on myself, but I was assigning to him and thinking, well, he's gonna think this of me. And we had a great conversation that really just released a lot of that. I don't know, like kind of a block, I guess, that I was probably feeling there, and it was self-imposed. He was not. He's been supportive of me the whole time and things like that, and so that was huge for us, and just for me personally, of not feeling like, I don't know, whatever this standard or expectation that I was holding myself to and then going, you're not there. And I think too, just the talk of the weight loss journey, I've been able to share that in my marketing, in my business, and just sharing that story. And so many women are able to identify. I would say one of I'm sure you hear things that people say over and over and over again, right? Yeah. So something I hear a lot of women say is, I don't even recognize my body anymore. I feel like I'm living in somebody else's body. And that is exactly how I felt during that period of time in my life. Yes. But I like, it's so weird to me that I had like blocked that experience like out of my memory almost. And when I started sharing that, how I felt, I think so many women can relate to that and feel like, okay, I'm not alone. And it's not just it translates over the releasing that shame and guilt from them, because they feel like they're eating too much, they're not exercising enough, and I've brought that self-acceptance piece into the work I do with my clients now, of like, let's get rid of that shame and guilt that we're you're not doing enough.
I'm so happy to hear that.
I
love that you brought that in.
We all carry that around of like, we've been told it's all calories and we need to eat less and exercise more. I mean, even doctors are telling us that. And it's really, getting the hormones lined back up that makes of course, yes, overeating, eating inflammatory foods are going to affect your body. Yes, there is some practicality we have, but let's release this, like, it's your fault, you're fat, you're obviously, there's so much shame and guilt around weight, and to be able to help people let go of that is just so huge,
So huge. I have several clients too that there's body image issues, and I've struggled with body image issues passed down. We tend to, not everybody, see like our mothers struggle with that, and then it comes up. And so I'm so happy that you're integrating more self-acceptance into the work that you're doing with your clients, because it's so needed. And I want to point out one thing that you said. You said, I was surprised that, I might not have the wording quite right, that I like block that from myself when thinking about like your weight gain journey. And so I just want to put a plug in here. When we are ashamed of, afraid of, or feel guilty about something about ourselves, we sometimes, many times, choose not to let ourselves know, essentially to block it from ourselves. And this is where the power of combining self-awareness with like absolute acceptance is beautiful, because if I'm not judging myself so harshly, then I can see things clearly. And then I can choose. That activates choice, and I can choose how to show up in the world and be more of the woman that I want to be. And that's I'm using I language right now, but that's true for literally every single human. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah. It was so weird to me to realize that, like, I've literally blocked this from my,
Yes.
my thoughts.
Yep.
So crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So interesting how our minds work, the programming
It is.
and everything.
It is.
The
So is
work
there
you
anything?
do is just fascinating.
Oh, thank you so much. I love it. Like, all of me just loves it so much. It feels so good to help.
I bet.
Yeah.
And you're amazing at it, so.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Is there anything else that you want to share about your journey?
I think just the, just it being a process and being okay with now, it's not that I went to your retreat and now I'm 100% better, kind of a thing. I mean, not that you can't
it's a
have
journey.
amazing breakthroughs, but I think,
Yes.
of just, all right. And okay, so now this is coming up a little more now, and now I can apply these tools, and like, what am I not accepting about myself? And can I accept that? And just having those tools now as, the layers of the onion continue to unfold, knowing how to have self-compassion and self-acceptance and so that I'm not continuing to fight life. So
100%. I like that you said that, because it's not just like one time check the box activity, like I go to the gym and I lift weights and then bam, solid for life. No, it's a journey, but having the tools in your back pocket makes the journey feel so much lighter and so much easier than before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so if someone listening today, she identifies as a high achieving woman like you, and she is asking herself, like, why am I like this? And maybe she even has some moments where she feels broken. What advice would you give her?
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a good question. I mean, work with Dr. Steph. So I mean,
Thank you.
Just do that. No, I think kind of who told you that you're broken? If you're feeling broken, where did that come from? And why do you have that belief that you're broken? I think that would, for me, feeling like that always achieving and always, being the good girl. It's like, well, I should be happy. I should be more, I'm feeling, broken. Well, why? Like, I don't know, just kind of starting to explore that and kind of to explore, like, I think we can look at and not spending too much time on who told you that and where it came from and it's my parents' fault or but like, okay, let's take a look at that, and then could I believe something different? Could life look different for me? Could I could I accept myself for who I am, and what would that be like if I did?
Yes.
What would it be like if it was okay for me to be totally myself and not whatever this expectation,
to be human,
is that I put up here. Yeah, to be human.
Yes. I do like that you asked, well, like, who told me this? Where did I learn this? Because I often say, like, according to whom? Because you didn't come out of the womb feeling inadequate. Like, that's not how it works. Or having all these limiting beliefs. You learned it somewhere. But the beauty of recognizing, like, oh, I learned it somewhere, is I could choose to learn something new.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so anything else before you share how everybody could get a hold of you?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. Well, it's not really, I was just thinking, you mentioned earlier, like, the intersection between, like, what you and I do. I know we didn't touch on it much, but I know you do the breath work, you have your breath work program. And just, that's something, I'm not in your program, but I do use breath work, for myself even. And just, I would love to, I'm going to do your program down the road, I think, because that is just key to, I would say, an intersection, where the work you and I, one of the many probably intersections where you and I work is that really down regulating your nervous system through, I find breath work to be the most effective way to do that, because when I work with my clients, is there's tends to be hormonal imbalance that stems from cortisol
being
dysregulation.
In fight or flight.
Cortisol being your stress hormone, right? And breath work is just an amazing way to help regulate your nervous system and not get into, I find the women that I work with are in, and myself included, right? I can look back through my life and see how my hormones were off because of dysregulation in your nervous system that comes from, I should be perfect and I'm not perfect.
And it's not safe to be imperfect, but it is. Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad that you're using it too, because we really can use breath work to recalibrate. I like to use clinical breath work in particular because research shows it's the most effective type that will recalibrate your nervous system. And too many of us are living in fight or flight constantly.
Yes.
I
That's
was
the
there
message
100%.
I constantly am telling my clients is, like, your body doesn't feel safe. Your body's in survival mode. Your body doesn't feel safe. And that's why everything else is messed up. That's literally at the crux of all the other problems. Why you can't lose weight, why you can't get pregnant, why you have, like, literally it's like a total domino effect on everything else in your body.
Goosebumps. Yes, like literally when you said, I was like, yes, it matters so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, so where can everyone find you if they want to work with you? Tell us more.
Yes. So I have a virtual practice. You can just find me at loriaikman.com. It's just LORIAIKMAN. And I'm some version of Lori Aikman on I would say Instagram is just at Lori Aikman. I've started to dabble in TikTok. And then,
fancy pants.
A little bit. Just, no more, just kind of like reels, just sharing. Hey, this is what I see, and I try and put out a lot of educational, like helping understand what the heck is going on in my body. But I've got some free resources. I have a challenge coming up in September, and just, different little things along the way where you can kind of dip your toe in and see, hey, like, what's going on in my body? Could this be the way to, like I said, everything is downstream effect of that dysregulated nervous system. And
Do you have a little more info on the challenge? I can drop the link like in the show notes if you have it.
I probably I don't have the website up for that yet because we're still over. I need to get that up. Actually, that's my goal for this month is kind of getting that out there. I do have a master class that you can watch just like on demand if you go to loriaikman.com/masterclass. It's geared towards weight loss just because that's what I know a lot of women want, but I'm then diving in the topic of this is what's going on hormonally, why, and this is why it's not just calories in, calories out, and you're not working hard enough and you're not exercising or dieting enough. So that can be kind of eye-opening if somebody's never heard that part of the body and the nervous system regulation and how that affects the hormones, and then specifically weight loss. I dive into a lot of that. That would be a great resource to check out.
Perfect. I will link that in the show notes, and everybody go follow Lori. And thank you so much for coming on. And I'm so happy that you've seen the shifts you have from the 2-day. It just melts my heart.
Yes. My gosh. Yes. I'm like, any opportunity I have to share you, everybody needs to do this work, right? And everybody, I think you're amazing, and I'm just so thankful that, our paths crossed, and I've been able to work with you as well. So
thank you so much.